I'm joined in studio by Amy Belmore. She's representing Heidrea for Heroes. Thanks so much for coming by, Amy.
Thank you so much for having me. Really appreciate it.
Well, I've been admiring your work from afar for a long time, and I know you've got some great coverage in the Old Colony Memorial and,
Yes.
and beyond.
Yes.
So can you tell our audience what Heidrea for Heroes is about?
Exactly. So Heidrea for Heroes is a nonprofit organization. We're based here in Plymouth, but we serve military veterans and widows of all ages, all war conflicts, and all war eras who are facing some kind of a hardship. And so our mission and our support takes many forms. It can be adaptive home renovations, home repairs for health and safety reasons. We offer workforce readiness programs and support for veterans who are in college now after they've returned from military duty and now have transitioned back to civilian life. So we offer a broad range of support, but all of it designed to lift burdens for veterans who are dealing with some kind of a hardship and don't have the resources to meet that need.
Wow. And so when you say resources, I assume that's a broad spectrum of resources and that you provide in-house some of those and maybe partner with other organizations. Can you tell me what your core activities might be or offerings?
Sure, absolutely. Yes, so most of our support is born out of veterans applying to us for their needs. And so they let us know what that particular need is. And then from there, we work with area businesses, contractors, plumbers, electricians, you name it, to try to address the problem at hand. And so if right now, this time of year, we're helping with some utility bill relief, people who just need to keep obviously their heat on in this Arctic blast that we had most recently. And so maybe they need some assistance with fuel, or maybe they need some relief to keep their electricity going. So that's one line of support. And then meantime, on the other hand, if it's stair repair or roof replacement or furnace or boiler replacement, these are needs that we see often, and we work with surrounding businesses or vendors from the area in which this veteran may live. And again, we serve Plymouth, Bristol.
That was the next question.
Yeah, so where do we serve? So
what's your footprint?
Sure, so we're a small office. There's really just 4 of us that work there, including 2 part-time staff and 2 full-time staff, but we have a broad reach. And so that's Plymouth, Barnstable, Norfolk, and Bristol counties. So it's really all of southeastern Mass. And so, we spend time on the road going to these homes and understanding what the needs are and meeting with contractors. And we do a lot of outreach to other members of the veteran service community to make sure they understand the work that we do and so that we can collaborate with them in return.
So how did the organization come into being?
Sure.
It's pretty new, right, the last few years?
Yeah, it was founded, they received their official 501c3 status in late 2013, and the organization was founded by 2 Marines who knew each other and understood as veterans themselves, understood the challenges of transitioning from being in an active duty and then transitioning into civilian life. And there are so many, there's a lot that goes on in that transition process that can present challenges for people. So they had a deep desire to help veterans in that way, whether they're younger, having newly transitioned, or we certainly serve a lot in the aging population as well.
I find that fascinating. I was not aware of that. And
yeah.
So basically you are there to help in whatever way you can for veterans and their surviving families of any, I was going to say conflict, but it's actually even beyond that. I mean,
any age, yeah.
Any veterans who have served.
Yeah, one of the ways we try to describe ourselves is we try to fill in the gaps. There are a lot of gaps in the system of veteran service. So we specifically do not want to be redundant, for instance, with what the VA can offer someone. So if a veteran has a medical condition or a need that can be met through their VA entitlement, we absolutely want them to go down that road, and we'll connect them to their veteran service officer to make sure that they're getting those benefits. But the reality is there are a lot of, for instance, with the aging population, if you have someone dealing with cancer or Parkinson's or diabetes that is not related to their military service,
right,
then they can't receive the same resources as if that disease were connected to their military service. And so therefore, they have needs too, and we feel they served our country, they served us all, and that's the kind of gap that we want to help to fill.
That's really outstanding.
Yeah.
So what would be it sounds like if you're a veteran or you care about veterans, you want to know what this organization does.
Yes.
And you want to either avail yourself of the opportunities to support the organization, and I know you have several fundraisers throughout the course of a year.
We do, yeah.
Or you want to make sure that you know what's available, so you can tell your friends, family, and neighbors. So
exactly.
So we're gonna show your URL on the screen.
Thank you.
It's probably just appeared now. I don't know.
Perfect. Thank you. It's a long one, so we appreciate it.
Oh, well, we need to fix that. So, but are there introductory events where you talk about what's available?
Yeah, so we have, I'm glad that you brought up the point that you just raised, because we spend a lot of time out in the community, whether it's talking to other civic groups or BNI groups or just groups in which we can communicate more about what we do. Because at the end of the day, our goal, of course, is to serve as many veterans as we can. However, there is certainly pride is a little bit of a barrier for veterans to raise their hand and say they need some help or to accept that help. And so what we have found is that the more friends, neighbors, coworkers that know of us that can introduce us to a veteran, if they know that maybe their uncle or maybe their coworker or their friend is having some sort of issue, they can help to break that ice. Yeah. And so we spend a lot of time out talking to groups that may or may not have veterans in attendance, but it's to help introduce people in the community to understand who we are and what we do. And then certainly we do have a lot of information on our website. We're active on social media. You can see the kind of work that we do, especially on Facebook, when we have the permission from veterans to share their stories, which is not always the case, but we try to share information.
So we have about 20 seconds left. Can you just give me maybe one example that stands out to you?
Absolutely. A recent example, actually, just before Christmas. It was a great way to end the year. We had a female veteran who was actually, she's the one who approached us, but her husband was a veteran as well. And they needed a roof replacement, and their homeowner's insurance was going to be canceled if they hadn't replaced that roof at a certain date. And so I reached out to a local roofing company that I happened to have a relationship with. And this doesn't happen all the time, but they came forward completely pro bono, replaced that roof, free and clear for the veteran, just in time for the deadline, just in time for Christmas. And the relief that they felt was extraordinary and wonderful, and it was great to hear from them.
Keeps you going.
Yeah,
Keeps everybody
they sent
going.
us all a really nice, nice note of how grateful they are. And we don't seek that out, but it's great to hear.
Well, that's a great story. We're going to have you back.
Sure, I would love it.
There's a lot more where that came from.
I would
Thanks
love it.
so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.